A massive thank you to Crazy Man, Bowie, Russell, Sadawa and Abdul for subscribing to the channel. If you want to be featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 15 of Season 5 of the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Yes, today we're here for the penultimate race of Season 5. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live over the weekend from Mexico, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out, but just 2 races to go of the campaign. Quickly, of course, there will be spoilers in just a moment, but we have been going through recently and getting all of the upgrades ready for next season there. Every single part has been sorted. We spent nearly 35,000 R&D points to make sure the car is as good as it has been ready for next season. How other teams will get on with it, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, very excited for the near future there. But like I said, spoilers now then. Last time round, disaster struck right at the end of the Mexican Grand Prix there. Means in the championship, 4 points between myself and Max Verstappen as we head in towards this Brazilian GP this weekend. This is an absolutely have-to-win situation for us there. 4 points in the Drivers' Championship. We have still got a 31-point lead in the Constructors, so theoretically, 212 Motorsport could become Constructors' Champions today with a good result there, and a fairly sensible result. Yeah, could land us with a Constructors' Championship come the end of the year there. But even more worrying, I said about the spicy engine going into the back of the car. We have not got any control electronics that are anywhere near sensible there. You can see 76, 92 and 100% wear on the control electronics. So we are going to have to take a penalty this weekend and put on a fresh control electronics into the car. That'll last us through the last couple of races, but that'll mean we have a completely fresh engine going into the car for the final 2 races of the year there. But yeah, less intro. Let's dive into it then here for the Brazilian Grand Prix weekend. Like I said, must win. Of course, if you aren't already, get yourself subscribed. Let's try and do this thing. Right, so there we go then. Pretty much a fresh engine in the back of the car. No idea why the energy store is still at 42% there. Might have to double check that before we get into qualifying there. But yeah, the team have confirmed it's a 5-place grid penalty then for the control electronics. So about what we'd expect this weekend. Yeah, Sao Paulo though. Not the hardest track to overtake at in the world of Formula 1, especially on F1 2021. It's often delivered us some pretty good races on this game, but I wasn't actually planning on recording a race today. I was actually going to get on with a couple of other videos, but I was so annoyed with myself for the mistake we made late on in the last video that I jumped back on the very next day to record this race for you, and yeah, fingers crossed, you know, we can sort of control our emotions and walk away with a good result here. Spicy engine though in the back of the car, carrying us up towards the start-finish line. Nice purple score to kick off the weekend. Well, always reassuring to start the weekend with a couple of nice, easy purple scores there in free practice. Again, you know, we don't need the R&D points. We could afford another whole refresh of rules and we'd still be okay on R&D, but let's get into Quali. We are now just 1 month away from the new F1 season, of course, with all the new liveries revealing, means that we've got all new merch drops. The 2022 McLaren replica launch has now gone live, as well as the 2022 Ferrari collection, and of course, yeah, the Puma drop as well, featuring brands from Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari. Of course, there are options available for every single team still. Click the link down below, and yeah, buy yourself some merch for 2022. Right, well here we are then, Saturday from the Brazilian Grand Prix. That's not quite the best run to get out of Junção, but yeah, we are reaching such levels of parity across the grid at the moment there. Q1, the top 13 were separated by less than a second here, but of course laps around Interlagos really do not take much time at all now. Of course, yeah, we're going to be close. I think we might see a couple of 103s, as that is immediately not the way to start a lap here through the Senna S. Sonoda was fastest in Q1 on a 104 flat. So yeah, whether Verstappen will suddenly find half a second later on in the session is left to be decided. There's Stroll that time round, only on a 105.4 for his first run. But we, first of all, of course, absolutely need to make it into Q3 and then need to try and put this car as high at the order as possible. So we can try and start, of course, with our 5-place grid penalty. as close to Verstappen as possible here. Better line out Jung Sao that time round to finish the lap rather than to start it. Sainz sets a 104.1. That was about the ballpark figure we were expecting from the top runners. This is going to be a pretty slow lap, a 106.0. So we need at least about 1.3, 1.4 if we want to be looking to make it through into Q3. But that was done on the hards, on the mediums even. I mean, this car, yeah, does feel absolutely on rails when you put it back on a set of soft compound tyres here. But let's just see what our first lap of Q2 then can be. Longest run towards the line, allow ourselves to build up the most momentum. And let's start another lap then here from Interlagos. Very late on the brakes in towards turn 1. A really nice run through the first couple of corners there. One nice fluid motion. And immediately half a second found on our previous. That's exactly what we like to see. Heading down the Esquina do Lago. In towards turn 4. Again, just chuck it in. The car will grip up. It does stick, this thing around here. And it's a joy to drive. Whether it's got the out-and-out pace, though, is a very different question. Out of the final corner, 1.2 up as we head back towards the line, so it is going to be a high 104. Said we needed about 1.3. We're just going to be a few thousandths away from that. That's going to put us only P10 at the moment there on a 104.8. We're going to need to do a third run here, but it's going to be mighty tight. Right, well, everyone else has started their final laps then of Q2 here, and we need to make it through into Q3. We need to try and launch this thing as high up the order as we possibly can. Like I keep saying, we have got a 5-place penalty, so it's going to be absolutely critical here. Let's try and get one sweat mode lap in to round out Q2. Well, we have found time as the lap has unfolded there, but I don't even know what position we're in at the moment or how much time we might need. We're in the drop zone. Charles Leclerc goes fastest on a 104.0. We're inching closer and closer to those 103s, but we're a quarter of a second up. This is going to be a 108.5. Is it going to be enough for Q3? Yes, it is. P7. A little bit nervy there, but we do make it through. And there we go, having a look at the final Q2 result. Charles Leclerc fastest ahead of Perez and Sainz. Max Verstappen struggling a little bit in qualifying there. Perez has been comfortably faster in both of the early runs, but looks like Tsunoda is really the only one that can hold a candle to Ferrari and Red Bull at the moment. We're, what, a tenth and a half away from Pierre Gasly there and 3.5 tenths away from Max there. Both myself and Lando just squeezing through as Ocon again making it through into Q3 in his Alpine there when Mazepin goes out in Q1. Let's dive into Q3 then. We've only got one fresh set of tyres. Let's see what we can do. Right, first lap then of Q3. We're going to go out on the set of tyres we just used for our Q2 run. Let's just see if they've still got some pace in them. Game only reckons they're going to be a tenth slower than what we were just able to do, but I'll believe that when I see it. Let's try and get this first banker in. Well, definitely a few tenths left on the table as I think these tyres, yeah, starting just to fall out of the best window, but out of the final corner there, let's see just that little kick of oversteer, but we managed to control it on the throttle, which is very, very rare to do on F1 2021. That's just how hard we're pushing at the moment. Up towards the line, probably going to be a low 5, a 5-0. So I wasn't far off with that prediction, but we could definitely get a mid to low 4 in if we get the lap absolutely nailed. This next lap is critical for our championship. Right, come on then. Sweat mode time, Matt. We need to nail a lap here of the Brazilian Grand Prix circuit. A little bit of a cautious run out of Jung Sao, but I'm sure by the time we get towards the line, we'll have been able to gain pretty much the same momentum as we always will of sweat mode. Well and truly has to be engaged. Oh, but 4.5 tenths up as we head in towards the final couple of corners then of the lap. Not really corners though. As we head up towards the start-finish line, it is going to be a mid-104. Where's it going to leave us? It's P7, I think, on the grid there. P12 after our penalty. Not great, but I think, to be honest, that might have been all we could get out of the car. We've set it up for the race.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Perez, Tsunoda and Charles Leclerc. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
Well, a bit gutted in the end there, to be honest, obviously, to see Lando finish in P5. Clearly, there was just that little bit more pace in the car if we got the lap hooked up. But every session, someone set a 104.0 there, but no one managed to break under the 64-second lap time there. Tsunoda, P2, just behind Checo Perez. Leclerc in P3, so Verstappen will start 4th here alongside our teammate Lando Norris. We're going to be starting 12th, though, on the grid. We've got a mountain to climb today. If we can head to Jeddah with a championship lead, I think we should be pretty happy with that. Let's dive in then here to the Brazilian GP.
Welcome along then to the place where heroes and history are made. It's where the 2008 title was decided in the final corner. And it's the place, a year later, that Jenson Button stormed through from 14th on the grid to claim his one and only Drivers' Championship. It's Interlagos, and it's time for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Interlagos, always a very special race here in Brazil. It's a 2.7 mile circuit with 9 lefts and 6 rights for a total of 15 corners. The fastest lap today should have an average speed of around 135 miles per hour, if of course the weather stays dry until the end of the Grand Prix. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat, Anthony Davidson. And our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching for as they go down into turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get off to a clean start, and this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space, and finding your braking point into turn 1 as well. It's a testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Sergio Perez will lead us away from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Norris, Carlos Sainz, and Gasly, Bottas, Ocon, Hamilton, and Daniel Ricciardo. Mr. Monaco, Tsunoda, and Guan Yu Zhou, and Russell, Stroll, Latifi, Callum Ilott, and Nikita Mazepin. Mick Schumacher, Giovinazzi, Lundgaard, and Robert Schwartzman. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Right, well, here we are then on the grid for the penultimate time in Season 5 here for the Brazilian GP. A couple of penalties around us mean we don't actually start as far down the order as I was expecting there. Tsunoda with some issues means we're just one place ahead of where we thought we'd be. They're down in P11 rather than P12, but it does also mean Verstappen has moved up. We desperately need Lando to send it on him on lap 1 to try and sneak up a little bit higher up the order here. But going to try and do the soft-medium strategy like we've done over the last couple of seasons. Should hopefully help us get to the end in a slightly quicker fashion there. We can afford to go super aggressive on the fuel as well this weekend. 4.5 laps under. But yeah, we need a good race today. Like I said, if we can leave here still somehow with a championship lead, I will be very, very happy. But ready on the grid then, here at Sao Paulo, a place where titles are won and lost. 5 red lights here for the Brazilian GP. And it is going to be lights out, and away we go. Way too exuberant on the throttle there, and I think Guan Yu Zhou, for the second weekend in a row, we've come together as Tsunoda immediately jumps up the inside of Lewis Hamilton there. Whether there's a bit of karma for Guan Yu Zhou after, of course, the contact last weekend. Yeah, I think that will be decided by you guys, I'm sure, down in the comments. But horrible, horrible start then, straight down to P13 there, as Nicholas Latifi in the Williams has somehow been able to pull off a move on us there by just getting a nice clean start and sending it to the inside in towards turn 1. Tsunoda straight up into 9th place from 12th on the grid, so he's showing me how it's done, as we'll try and emulate him and send it up the inside of Latifi there. Do not want to get caught battling Williams here today. But yeah, need to try and settle down into a rhythm nice and quickly. Doesn't look like Lando has been able to make the move there, but I think he's still sat in P4. We've got to hope Perez and Leclerc can try and run away from Max, and he can get stuck sort of with Lando in his DRS. But as we head out the final corner, heading up towards Turn 1, of course, Hamilton's last ever Brazilian Grand Prix of F1 at 2021 in the My Team career mode today. I'm sure he's got some fond memories around this circuit, but are we going to be able to have a look up the inside of the Mercedes in towards Turn 1? Yes, we can. Hamilton jumps out the way. Of course, he lost the World Championship to Max Verstappen just last season. I'm sure he'd love to see us win it. So we head back down to Esquina del Lago. Though I say that, Hamilton's going to come back at me. The racing instinct has never left our fellow Brit there as we try and squeeze him out down in towards Turn 4. Good start though in the end. Haven't lost, haven't gained, but we need to keep the pressure on. Perez still setting fastest laps of the Grand Prix there. Charles Leclerc goes ever so slightly faster.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
But it looks like Lando was already getting caught a little bit with Carlos Sainz behind him. It just doesn't seem like our teammates got the pace to match the Red Bulls or the Ferraris early on. Ricciardo is just being slow everywhere he needs to be, and then has got the pace down the straights there. So very, very difficult to try and make move work on the Australian. As this time around, Lando seems to get into gear there. Now, new fastest lap.
Teammate by 4.6 seconds.
But yeah, we need to try and get around the Australian. The further we spend stuck... Oh, that was scary. Somehow we keep it. I mean, that was luck. There was nothing else there but luck that's kept us pointing in the right direction. Big, big moment over the Turn 2 curbing, but we live to fight another day.
Okay, we're running low on fuel. You'll need to conserve what you have left in order to finish the race.
It is Ocon that's just causing this train at the moment, but none of us seem to be able to make the move work, as Tsunoda just can't seem to put the power down out of Jung Sao and actually get the run on the Alpine. Like we always say, the Alpine's no slouch when you get it going down the straight, as I've accidentally pressed the pit radio rather than the DRS there. But yeah, Tsunoda just can't seem to get close enough in towards Turn 1, and then of course none of us can gain on Tsunoda. Getting a little bit closer to Hamilton this time round as we head out of Jung Sao. Having to try and stick close out through those final couple of corners there and hoping we can make gains back down the front straightaway. We're closing. And a big, big send to the inside of Hamilton this time round. I don't think he was expecting that one. A little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, but we do make the move work. There is Ocon now. Couldn't quite hold on very well against Tsunoda there. They're going side by side. Ricciardo's going to make it 3 wide. Flashbacks to what we saw a couple of seasons ago here. And again, the Alpine in the middle makes contact with the car on the inside there. Ricciardo, nowhere for him to go as we get a big wobble on the exit of the corner there. But I cannot believe we've seen what we saw a couple of years ago there. Tsunoda runs horribly wide on the exit. Are we potentially going to be able to move our way past the Mercedes or the McLaren here, as this might hopefully give Ocon just a little bit of breathing room there. Ricciardo still on the inside as we're just trying to get a switchback on one of them. Still side by side. Tsunoda has to back out in the end there. Oh, a little bit of contact with the Mercedes rear end, as now we'll try and get a run out of Jung Sao. And maybe we can go 2 laps and 2 overtakes on the Mercs there. Try and bring ourselves into the points for the first time today. Oh, gaining on Yuki Tsunoda, and he's aware of it. Goes defensive. We'll have a look to the outside. Super late on the brakes. Oh, contact. And what was Tsunoda doing there through Turn 1? Just completely turned into me. I don't know if he just got a back-end step of oversteer. There is Hamilton. Apologies to him. I didn't realise he was on the outside. It's all going wrong early on in this GP there. A little bit of contact with both Mercs. And we, I think, I don't think we're causing drama here, but we're certainly getting involved in it, as now Ricciardo and Ocon a little further up the road. Oh, we've got yellow flags out. Someone's got issues in this Grand Prix. Who is it up the road? It's Verstappen! Verstappen out of this Brazilian Grand Prix that I cannot believe what we're seeing. He's had so much luck with reliability this year. Their Red Bull and Honda have given him such a good car. Checo has been the one with all the engine failures down at Red Bull, but a huge twist in the championship now. Not only are we ahead of Verstappen in the title, but if we were to win today, somehow, we would wrap up the World Championship there. I cannot believe what we're seeing late on in My Team Season 5 there. Verstappen out of the Brazilian Grand Prix, and now this is well and truly in our hands. We have to try and gain places today. Give ourselves that buffer ready for Jeddah there, as that is not the line through turn 1. But I cannot believe it. Verstappen, he's had such good reliability all season long. And here in Brazil, I said this is where titles are won and lost. Verstappen out in this Interlagos race early on. We've got more yellow flags out. Someone else has got issues in this race. It's a Williams, I think. Must be Callum Ilott, but I think he's just pitched it round. I think he'll live to fight another day. Ricardo to the outside of Esteban Ocon in towards turn 4. Every time, though, the Australian has a look to the outside and Ocon just hangs him out to dry on the exit of the corner there. I've got no idea how Ocon has defended for as long as he has in this GP, but now hopefully we might be able to get a run on the pair of them very soon, because we need to try to make proper progress forward here and just trying to see if we can be challenging the front runners towards the end of this GP. Looks like a few more cars though are trying to go long in this one, so I don't think we're going to see any two stops coming in. But yeah, it's just a case of when is the time to pit, as there we go. Talking of which, Lando into the box. Horrible run out of Jung Sao. We are, I think, over pushing the car just a little bit this weekend. I think the pressure is starting to get to me as Ocon dives into the pit lane as well as a handful of other cars. So we're going to be moving up towards the podium places. There we go. Ricardo in. Team on us in the end of this one. I think we're going to have to go one lap longer. But can we now get a run on the Australian here? We've spent so much time looking at Husky Chocolate sponsors today. I don't think we're going to get a run down the hill. There we go. Carlos Sainz into the pits, Sergio Perez into the pits, and Ricardo's going to follow him in as well. So we have gone a little bit longer than basically everyone else in this GP. We are going to box though at the end of this one, move ourselves onto a fresh set of medium compound tyres there, and hopefully then I'll have the pace advantage to the end of this GP. It's just going to be about trying to pick off cars though, and seeing how high up the order we can move. Every position means everything at the moment. And end of lap 15, yeah, these tyres have definitely done about as good as I'd expect them to do, especially with how hard we've pushed them here today. Into the pit lane we come. Get it slowed down nice and tidy. Oh, a little bit cautious on the way in, but we do get the car slowed down. And I think, yeah, we're going to re-emerge around Ricardo and Ocon there. Seems like Ricardo's actually got the jump on Esteban, so maybe we can try and do the same in this GP. It might be very, very close when we head out of the pit. 2.1 second stop from the team. Love to see that. Thank you very much. As are we now going to come out ahead of Esteban Ocon in this GP? Of course, such a unique pit lane here in Interlagos. We're definitely going to be out behind Ricardo. But full attack, and I think we have done the jump on Ocon as well there. So clearly the Alpine still lacking pace. And we re-emerge then in P10 of the GP, but a few more cars have still got a pit, including those pesky Aston Martins. Right, let's see what Ricardo's capable of on those hard tyres, and with no DRS to defend himself with. Look immediately at the grip we've got on the Australian, getting a really nice run out of Jung Sao. Let's just say goodbye to Daniel Ricciardo then in this GP. Stroll into the pits as well. He's always been known for doing the one stop here, and I'm guessing George Russell is going to do the same. So aggressive strategies coming in from Aston Martin as well. But yeah, back up then into P8 of this race. Bottas, sorry, 6 seconds up the road. Do not hit that curb, Matt. I cannot stress how many times I've had to think that during this race. Gasly, though, still close to the top runners. 10 seconds away. And 1 lap later, George Russell then into the pit lane as we cross over the halfway stage. New fastest.
Fastest lap of the race so far.
I mean, bonus points, yeah, could end up deciding who takes home the World Championship this year. But back up now into 7th as we've taken 1.5 seconds at Gasly on that lap alone, but he was getting held up by George.
We're way off our fuel strategy. We need to start conserving as much as possible.
We've got more yellow flags out as it looks like a Williams has gone round again. Can only guess this time around it's Latifi. Yeah, what's going on at Williams then? Clearly trying to practice their drifting skills. We are attacking so hard at the moment, just trying to pump the laps in at this stage of the GP, and so far it's working. Now inside the DRS range of Valtteri Bottas. Fingers crossed we're going to be able to get past him. Down in towards turn 1. Gaining on the McLaren man, and up the inside we go. Big send. A little bit late on the brakes there as Bottas thinks about trying to fight back, but absolutely having none of that.
Nice move.
Team loving that one, as now we're just 5 seconds away from Gasly and Norris up
Gap
the
to
road
car in
there.
front is 5.1 seconds.
Come on, we can still claw away big chunk of points from this race. Perez still doing everything he needs to for Red Bull, trying desperately to defend from those Ferraris. Crossing over 2/3 race distance here. The gap's not coming down as quickly.
Be on the softs.
Team want us to box in again, and I absolutely am not, but is the race win still possible here? We are taking a lot of time out of these front runners, and I mean, yeah, we're gaining the same sort of distance on all of them as Gasly tried to have a look at the inside of Lando there, and that should hopefully bring us a few tenths closer. But yeah, this really probably is coming down to what Ferrari can do. If they can keep launching attacks on Perez, that could be massively critical there and helping us close up the gap to the lot of them in the same way Gasly's trying to do to Lando at the moment. Is he again going to be able to get a run down in towards the Esquina del Lago? Not this time. And that's about to make our day just that little bit more difficult. DRS has now gone offline. Doesn't matter just yet, but yeah, we're going to need it back rather quickly here. That being said, with the DRS, rather happy it's stuck shut rather than stuck open, like it has been a couple of times in the past. Makes driving this thing a whole lot easier still. You can see how much ground we lose again to Pierre and Lando without the DRS.
Won't have enough fuel for the end of the race. Consider adopting a more conservative strategy to preserve what you have left.
Team's still very worried about the fuel, but I'm pretty certain it will come back to us by the end. We're still actually 0.8 laps down. We're just 8 laps to go of this GP. Front tyre starting to struggle a little bit with overheating, but we've got to keep plugging away. To be honest, I think at the moment we actually want to see Pierre get a run on Lando, just so we can try and close in on the pair of them there as we head back through the first couple of corners. Just 8 laps to go now here in Brazil, and we can't do anything at the moment as Gasly again can't quite get close enough to Lando. Please, racing gods, give me back our DRS soon. I would love to be able to try and make some more moves in this Grand Prix, because at the moment you can just see as we head out of Zhongzhou, not really losing much to Pierre, and then as soon as he whacks open that DRS, he just pulls away from me like we're standing still, but he just can't seem to get close enough to Lando once more. In towards turn 1, that's a lot of curb by us. You can see how hard we're pushing. We either got to, wait for this DRS to come back online, or try and make a move work through the middle sector, which is much easier said than done. Pushing Pierre along through the middle sector now of the lap, but 6 to go here from Interlagos. We've now got blue flag cars to try and navigate as well, so that's just going to mean even more vehicles have got the DRS around us here, and this is not what we need at the moment. There we go! DRS back online. That's what I love to see as we head back down in towards turn 1. That line through turn 1 was not what we love to see, but now we can really try and turn up the wick again. 6 laps. P6 still. We need to gain places, and rapidly. I mean, look at this through the middle sector there. Everyone going slowly, and look at this straight around the outside of Pierre Gasly there. Lando as well. Oh, Lando Norris just gets in the way of us. Think about looking for a move or contact with our teammate there. Wasn't actually trying to make the move work on Lando Norris, as we do get a warning for a collision there, but not quite what we needed.
Taking care of them.
Don't think we picked up any front wing damage from that one, but we should now get some DRS off our teammate there, and that was not how I planned on making a move work on Pierre Gasly, but we will absolutely have it here as the top guys again, Charles Leclerc, well over 3 seconds up the road. As we head back down in towards turn 1, is Lando going to get some DRS off Christian Lundgaard? I think he might be. As there we go, Lando Norris opens up that rear wing. Lundgaard needs to move out of the way in pronto, which he does. But now we've got to try and wait, I think, again to the end of the lap to try and make a move work. Yeah, we definitely have got a little bit of front wing damage there from that contact with Lando Norris, but I think if we can get him, that might be all we can ask for in this Grand Prix. Maybe a little bit of multi-21 from the team. If Checo wins this, though, it does mean Red Bull do make slight gains in the Constructors' Championship, so Sergio Perez doing everything he should be doing for Red Bull at the moment, keeping both title fights alive, as we're not even going to be able to get a run, I don't think, down in towards the Esquina del Lago here. Having a look to the inside of Lando, but nothing working as of yet, and we're still under on fuel, pretty much now actually back to normal, so we are only just going to claw it back as this race heads into its dying stages here, but 3.5 laps to go. We need to make a move on our teammate. A little bit closer to Lando Norris this time round as we head out the final corner. Can't seem to get a particularly big run back down towards turn 1 there. It's definitely down in towards the Assetto del Lago, where we gain more on our teammate there. It's gaining back in towards T1, but just got to try and stick close behind him and roll on the ERS as quickly as we can out through turn 2 and at turn 3 there. This time around we're only going to be caught for a second back. Activate the rear wing. You can see gaining once more. Oh, Lando! He just sits the car perfectly down in towards the Assetto del Lago that time, and again, we can't make a move. Why is our teammate fighting so hard here? Rumours are swirling that he won't be staying with 212 Motorsport for Season 6. He might be off to another team, but at the moment, that does not help out either of us. 2 laps to go then. Can we now make a move work on our teammate Lando Norris? Again, gaining even more rapidly as we head back up in towards turn 1, but again, just don't want to risk it all and have an accident with our teammate here that could throw not only the Drivers' Championship wide open, but also the Constructors. Activate the DRS. This time around we get a big run down in towards the Assetto del Lago. He forces us to the inside. Pretty even on the brakes there, but we'll hang him out to dry on the exit, and we will now claim P4 of the Brazilian Grand Prix here with just a lap and a half to go. Now we've got to try and bring this thing to the flag and hopefully head to Jeddah with a nice championship lead. However, Lando, I don't think he's given up on this just yet. Well, about to start the final lap then of the Brazilian Grand Prix, and Lando Norris is still going to be gaining on me as we head back up in towards turn 1 here. Is he going to be able to make a move work in towards the first corner? Look at how much our teammate's closing. Not quite enough this time round as we try and slow it down, tip it through the first couple of turns. And have we done enough now? Really, yeah, it is a question of trying to defend into the Assetto del Lago. No, we have not. Lando Norris, huge run on us as we head down the hill there, and he completely flies up the inside. We'll try and do the old up and under on him on the exit of the corner there to the outside of our teammate. No. Lando Norris hangs on as we head up the hill there, and what on earth is going on down at 212 Motorsport? Lando, a huge block thrown in as we head back up the hill as well. What on earth is our teammate doing? At the moment, they're trying to defend P4 from us, and this could be costly in the Drivers' Championship come the end of next race. What on earth is Lando Norris doing there? Tyres giving up in the dirty air. I'm not even sure we'll get close enough back in towards the start-finish line. And no, Lando Norris, he's done enough. He will hang on in the Brazilian Grand Prix. They're not happy with our teammate. Checo Perez takes the win. Ferrari P2 and P3. And we come through only in the end for P5.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Another superb Brazilian Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently. It's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be proud of the victory they secured here. Mr. Monaco increases their championship lead. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. They pushed and found some fantastic performance. It was just a pleasure to watch.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. No change in the top spot, but with today's points, their hold on the lead is getting weaker. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.
Well, there we are then, guys, the end of the Brazilian Grand Prix. And it is Sergio Perez, pole position, race victory there, made it look simple on paper. And to be fair to him, has done everything Red Bull could have asked from him this weekend. They're making sure we couldn't wrap up the Drivers' Championship when all is said and done here in Interlagos. Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, P2 and P3 are ahead of Lando Norris and myself. Like I said, not happy with Lando at the end of the race there. Those extra 2 points could be critical in Jeddah come next weekend. And I think, yeah, there were rumours going around that he wouldn't be staying with 2-2 Motorsport for next season. I think that is all but confirmed from there. Never would you fight that hard with your teammate when he's got a championship on the line. Gasly in 6th ahead of both McLaren. Stroll in P9 there. The aggressive strategy did work for Aston Martin, and Ocon gets another point on the board for Alpine as well. Mercedes down in P12 and P13 when all is said and done there. They are well and truly not fighting at the front. But yeah, Max Verstappen, the only man not to make it to the checkered flag at the end of this GP. You can talk about bad luck with reliability, but we've had 2 mechanical failures to his 1 this year. So certainly, you know, not quite the way anyone, I'm sure, would want to win a world title, but if that is what makes the difference, we'll take it at the end of the day. They're 15 points, though, the gap, as we head in towards the final race of the year, so we need P4 or better in Jeddah next weekend now to try and wrap up and consolidate the Drivers' Championship there. Max Verstappen still just a little way behind. Lando Norris still hanging on to P3 ahead of Charles Leclerc there. Perez gets the jump on Pierre Gasly. That really should have been done a long time ago this season, but again, Gasly has been phenomenal there. And yeah, Ocon jumps Guan Yu Zhou as well. I mean, 13 points to Pierre's 134. How Guan Yu Zhou's hanging on to an F1 seat, I will never quite understand. Constructors-wise, though, 29 the gap as we head into the final race of the year there. So we need P4. The team needs 15 points from the final race of the year there if we want to be crowned Constructors' Champions. It's all going down to the wire for the first time on F1 2021 for ourselves. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like. Get yourselves subscribed. You guys do not want to miss the finale in Jeddah in just a couple of days' time. But thank you all so much for watching. And yeah, we'll be back very, very soon. Matt versus Max in Saudi Arabia. You guys do not want to miss it. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members. So a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below. And yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.